Did you know that after 60, certain sexual habits could quietly be draining your health, weakening your heart, fogging your memory, and even speeding up the aging process itself? Most seniors believe intimacy problems are just part of getting older. But shocking new medical findings reveal that the wrong habits in the bedroom may raise your risk of depression, cardiovascular disease, and even early cognitive decline by up to 60%. And here's the part no one talks about. Millions of older Americans are repeating these same dangerous mistakes every single week, all while believing they're living a normal senior life. But there is good news. Research from leading gerontology studies shows that the right sexual habits can do the opposite. Protect your brain, lift your mood, lower your blood pressure, and even extend your independence well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Intimacy, when practiced wisely, is one of the most overlooked medicines for aging. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the truth. The 3 sexual habits seniors must avoid at all costs, followed by the 3 habits you should embrace if you want to stay strong, sharp, and deeply connected. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Part 1. 3 worst sexual habits seniors should avoid. Habit number 1. Ignoring sexual health checkups. One of the most dangerous sexual habits seniors fall into is simply this: pretending that sexual health doesn't matter anymore. After 60, many older adults stop bringing up intimacy issues with their doctor. They feel embarrassed, or they tell themselves, it's just age. Nothing can be done. But ignoring sexual health checkups can quietly destroy not only your intimate life, but also your overall health. Let me tell you about Mr. Thompson, a 72-year-old gentleman I once cared for. He came in after months of struggling with erectile difficulties. He had convinced himself it was just old age. What he didn't realize was that this problem was the very first sign of blocked arteries. By the time he finally got checked, tests revealed advanced cardiovascular disease. That single symptom, ignored for too long, nearly cost him his life. This is the hidden danger. Sexual problems in seniors are often the body's first whisper that something is wrong. Erectile dysfunction in men may be an early marker of heart disease or diabetes. Painful intimacy or dryness in women can signal hormonal imbalance, circulation issues, or even early bone density loss. These are not just aging. They are flashing red lights on your health dashboard. The price you pay for silence is steep. Without proper evaluation, treatable conditions progress unnoticed. Depression deepens as intimacy fades. Loneliness sets in, leaving you vulnerable not only to emotional decline, but also to faster cognitive aging. And when your partner feels shut out or unwanted, relationships suffer quietly until the distance becomes permanent. All of this can begin with a simple choice to ignore a checkup. And here's the truth no one tells you. Sexual health checkups after 60 aren't just about sex. They're about protecting your heart, your brain, your circulation, and your ability to remain strong and independent. Doctors today have effective, safe options for seniors, from gentle hormone adjustments to lifestyle changes that restore confidence and closeness. But none of that can happen if you never bring it up. So if you've been brushing off those warning signs, ask yourself, is a moment of embarrassment worth risking your heart, your memory, or even your independence? And yet, as dangerous as silence can be, there is an equally destructive force that creeps in once we convince ourselves intimacy no longer belongs to us. And that leads us straight into habit number 2. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. Habit number 2, believing sex is over after 60. Perhaps the most damaging habit of all isn't physical, it's mental. Too many seniors convince themselves that sex has no place in their lives once they cross 60. They think, I'm too old, my body has changed, my partner probably isn't interested either. This quiet surrender may seem harmless, but it's a decision that sets off a chain reaction of decline, both in body and spirit. I remember Mrs. Parker, a 68-year-old widow, who came to see me. She hadn't sought intimacy in over a decade. When I asked her why, she looked down and whispered, "That part of my life is finished." Yet behind her words were years of loneliness, untreated depression, and a growing disconnection from her own body. What she didn't realize was that her withdrawal from intimacy wasn't just emotional. It was accelerating her aging. Medical research shows that older adults who stop engaging in intimacy, whether through physical closeness, affectionate touch, or sexual activity, are at far greater risk of depression, memory decline, weakened immunity, and even premature death. Why? Because intimacy stimulates the release of hormones like oxytocin and dopamine, which protect the brain, reduce stress, and strengthen the cardiovascular system. When you give that up, you aren't just losing closeness. You are losing one of the body's most powerful natural medicines. The price you pay for believing it's over is steep. Days grow quieter but lonelier. Small aches feel sharper because you no longer have the comfort of closeness. Sleep becomes restless, blood pressure creeps upward, and sadness takes root where joy used to live. Even your partner, who may long for connection but feels rejected, begins to pull away. And slowly, the walls of isolation close in. Here is the truth. Intimacy after 60 doesn't vanish. It simply evolves. It may look different than it did in your 20s, but it can be deeper, more meaningful, and far more healing. Believing it's finished robs you of the chance to experience that renewal. And yet, while giving up on intimacy is dangerous, there is another threat that lurks when seniors do choose to engage. One that most people never think about, but which can devastate your health in ways far more immediate. That brings us to habit number 3. Habit number 3, unsafe or unprotected encounters. There is a hidden danger many seniors never see coming. After 60, most people believe they no longer need protection because pregnancy is no longer a concern. But this false sense of security has fueled one of the fastest growing health problems among older adults in America: sexually transmitted infections. The CDC reports that cases of syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and even HIV have been rising sharply among seniors over the past 2 decades. Why? Because unprotected encounters are far more common than most people realize. I'll never forget Mr. Reynolds, a 66-year-old man who came to my clinic complaining of fatigue, night sweats, and weight loss. He had started dating again after losing his wife and thought condoms were only for the young. Tests revealed he was living with HRV, a diagnosis that shook him to the core. He told me with tears in his eyes, "I thought this couldn't happen to someone my age, but it can, and it does." The truth is, our immune systems grow weaker with age. What might have been a manageable infection in your 30s or 40s can spread faster and cause far greater damage in your 60s and 70s. Syphilis can damage your heart and brain. Untreated chlamydia can trigger chronic pain. HIV, while far more treatable today, still carries lifelong consequences and requires strict medical management. These infections also complicate other chronic conditions, diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, making them harder to control. The price you pay for assuming you're safe without protection is devastating. You risk your health, your independence, and your dignity. An infection at this stage of life doesn't just steal intimacy, it steals years of vitality, forcing you into a cycle of medications, hospital visits, and fear. And the emotional cost is just as heavy. Partners may lose trust, children may worry, and you may find yourself living with shame and regret that could have been avoided with a single decision, using protection. Here is the lesson. Intimacy in later life is a gift, but it must be handled with wisdom. Protecting yourself isn't a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength, of valuing the life you still have to live. And now that you know the 3 most dangerous habits to avoid, let's turn the page. Because while some choices can quietly harm you, others can bring renewal, healing, and vitality. In part 2, we'll uncover the 3 sexual habits seniors should follow to stay strong, connected, and alive. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. Part 2. 3 sexual habits seniors should follow. Habit number 1. Open, honest communication. The foundation of a healthy and lasting intimate life after 60 isn't found in a pill bottle or a quick fix. It begins with something much simpler, yet often the hardest to do: honest communication. Too many seniors suffer in silence, believing their partner doesn't want to hear about their struggles, or fearing that talking about intimacy will only create tension. But the truth is, silence is the real killer of closeness. I recall Mrs. and Mr. Jenkins, a couple in their late 60s, who came to see me after years of drifting apart. She had been experiencing pain during intimacy, but never told him because she didn't want to seem weak. He assumed her withdrawal meant she wasn't interested anymore, so he quietly stopped initiating. Over time, the distance between them grew into loneliness, even though they still loved each other deeply. When they finally sat down together and admitted what they were feeling, tears filled their eyes. For the first time in years, they understood each other again. With the right guidance, gentle treatments, and honest words, their connection was rekindled. This is the power of communication. For seniors, intimacy often changes. Our bodies require more time, more care, and sometimes medical support. Without communication, these natural changes can feel like rejection. But when you speak openly, you transform problems into opportunities for closeness. Telling your partner, "I need more time," or "let's try a different touch," can prevent misunderstandings and deepen the bond you've built over decades. The science backs this up. Studies show that older couples who openly discuss their needs report greater satisfaction, lower stress, and even stronger immune systems. Honest conversations lower blood pressure, release calming hormones, and strengthen emotional resilience. Communication isn't just about sex. It's about health, trust, and preserving the companionship that keeps you both independent and vibrant. The price you pay for silence is heavy. Loneliness in a shared home, unnecessary medical suffering, and the slow fading of a relationship that still has so much life to give. But when you dare to speak, you invite healing, closeness, and joy back into your days. And while communication opens the door, there's another powerful habit that takes intimacy beyond the bedroom, one that can transform even simple daily moments into medicine for the heart. Let's explore habit number 2. Habit number 2, Focus on whole body intimacy. One of the most liberating truths about intimacy after 60 is that it no longer needs to be defined by performance or pressure. The best habit seniors can adopt is expanding intimacy beyond the act itself, embracing whole body closeness that nourishes both heart and mind. At this stage of life, touch becomes medicine, affection becomes therapy, and closeness becomes the shield against loneliness that so often creeps in during the later years. I think of Helen, a 74-year-old widow who eventually remarried. She confessed during a visit that she often felt guilty because she no longer had the same physical stamina she once did. Her new husband, also in his 70s, struggled with arthritis, and intimacy had grown frustrating for them both. They thought their best days were behind them. But when I encouraged them to focus on simple whole body intimacy, holding hands longer, sharing slow dances in the living room, giving each other back rubs, and spending quiet time skin to skin, something shifted. Helen returned 6 months later, glowing. "Doctor," she said with tears of joy, "we discovered that intimacy isn't gone. It's different now, but it feels even more meaningful." Medical research confirms what Helen experienced. Gentle touch, affectionate cuddling, and non-sexual physical closeness stimulate the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Oxytocin reduces blood pressure, improves mood, and strengthens immune defenses. For seniors who often battle chronic stress, high blood pressure, or arthritis pain, this natural release of calming hormones can be life-changing. Even a 10-minute massage or a long embrace before sleep can lower nighttime anxiety and improve rest. The price you pay for ignoring whole body intimacy is silent but devastating. Nights filled with distance instead of warmth, mornings clouded with loneliness, and a slow loss of emotional connection. Without that daily reminder of love and closeness, couples drift apart, leaving each partner to fight aging's battles alone. And aging alone is always harder. The beauty of whole body intimacy is that it doesn't demand youth, speed, or perfection. It simply asks for presence and willingness. And when seniors embrace this habit, they discover that intimacy is not ending, but evolving into something deeper and healing. But there's one more habit that goes even further, one that doesn't just preserve intimacy, but actively strengthens the body and the spirit. Let's uncover habit number 3. Habit number 3, prioritize physical wellness to support sexual wellness. It's easy to think of intimacy as something separate from the rest of your health, but in truth, the bedroom is often the mirror of the body. Seniors who neglect exercise, nutrition, and sleep often find intimacy slipping away not because of desire, but because the body simply cannot keep up. The habit that makes the difference is this: prioritizing physical wellness as the foundation of sexual wellness. I once treated Mr. Harris, a 70-year-old retired teacher who came in convinced his intimacy problems were purely age. He had gained weight, wasn't moving much, and slept poorly. His blood pressure was high, his blood sugar uncontrolled. When we discussed his sexual concerns, I explained that circulation is everything. Without healthy arteries, the brain, the heart, and yes, even sexual organs are starved of oxygen and blood flow. I encouraged him to begin walking 30 minutes a day, eat more vegetables and lean protein, and focus on steady sleep. 6 months later, he returned a different man. His energy was back, his confidence restored, and his intimacy with his wife had quietly revived. He told me, "Doctor, I thought my sex life was over. Turns out it was my lifestyle that needed changing." This is the science. Regular physical activity improves circulation, balances hormones, and boosts stamina. A heart-healthy diet rich in fish, nuts, and greens lowers inflammation, which otherwise dulls desire and weakens performance. Quality sleep repairs the nervous system and regulates stress hormones that can destroy intimacy when left unchecked. For seniors, each of these habits also lowers the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and depression, all of which are tightly linked to sexual decline. The price you pay for ignoring your body is costly. Shortness of breath robs you of confidence, joint pain makes closeness uncomfortable, and fatigue replaces desire with frustration. Before long, you find yourself retreating not only from intimacy, but from life itself. And yet, by making small, consistent choices, a walk, a balanced meal, a full night's rest, you reclaim strength, confidence, and the ability to connect with the person you love most. And here's the powerful truth. When you nurture your body, you nurture your intimacy. But when you bring all three habits together, open communication, whole body closeness, and physical wellness, something remarkable happens. Let's step back and see how these choices combine into a roadmap for lasting love, vitality, and independence. Final conclusion: the power of choice in later life intimacy. As we step back and look at the full picture, the message is clear. Intimacy after 60 is not gone, it is transformed. The habits you avoid and the habits you embrace will shape whether these years become filled with connection and vitality, or isolation and decline. In part 1, we saw the dangers of neglecting checkups, giving up on intimacy, and risking unsafe encounters. Each of these choices quietly erodes not only your sexual health, but also your heart, your brain, and your independence. The price you pay for those habits is far too high: loneliness, illness, and regret. But in part 2, we discovered a different path. Honest communication restores trust and brings couples closer than they've been in years. Whole body intimacy turns simple touch into healing medicine for the mind and spirit. And prioritizing physical wellness provides the strength, circulation, and stamina that keep desire alive. Together, these habits form a foundation for intimacy that is not fragile but resilient, one that grows deeper with age. The truth is, your later years can hold some of the richest, most meaningful expressions of love you have ever known. Intimacy does not disappear with age. It matures, it deepens, and it can nourish you in ways that protect both body and soul. So ask yourself, what story will you write with the years you have ahead? Will you let fear, silence, or neglect steal what could still be yours? Or will you step into this season with wisdom, courage, and the conviction that love and connection remain not only possible but essential? Because the choices you make today determine whether tomorrow is filled with distance or with the kind of closeness that keeps you truly alive. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.